friends, welcome to Legal Chat. I, Advocate Preeti Gada and Mr. Dr. Sudhir Shah, Advocate. We welcome the audience for the Legal Chat.
Preeti, I read in Times of India about this living will.
Okay.
Now, can you tell me what is living will?
Yeah, it is a very interesting subject. A living will is a legal written document that individual can make during their lifetime, whereby they can specify whether they shall or shall not be given medical treatment in future if they become terminally ill. So when certain conditions comes, where the stage comes where a patient is now on the ventilator or in such a disease where their revival or the chances are very less, but only life support system are there where he is only alive. So the person can select like a right to live with dignity. Similarly, there has to be a right to live with right to death with dignity also. So then this concept will come as a legal living will.
Okay. In my personal life also, similar question had arisen. My first wife, Rupa, she was suffering from cancer. And lastly, she was hospitalized for almost a month. And last 4 or 5 days, she had lost consciousness. She was just lying there and taking breath, that's all. And doctors had said that now chances of her survival are nil. Anytime she will stop breathing. And we were all worried what to do. Some friends, some relatives said that we must tell the doctors that take away all the life support system so that she will die in peace instead of she just lying this for days together. But I could not make up my mind. How could I say to the doctors that you stop giving treatment to my wife so that she will die?
This is only happen when person relatives cannot take any decision about the death of a person. So therefore there is this concept which is very common in the Western countries, but it is still not very common to our country, that a person himself will decide what kind of death I want. Whether I want a death on the ventilator, life support system, and live for another many months or days or whatever, and hassle that pain and suffer and everything. So this is by way of a living will. There is a concept where you can decide with dignity death you want.
But Preeti, this is very, very dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Because I may say that okay, if I am lying ill for so many days, then remove my support so that I will die peacefully. And somebody may misuse it.
Yes.
There are instances that people who have gone into coma for days together, they have revived. Now if their life support is taken away, they will die. That's not a natural thing.
Yes.
So living will, I think it's a very controversial subject.
Yes.
And it is very difficult to decide. Even if the person has made a will and said that in such and such circumstances, you remove my life support so that I will die. But how could you do this? How would you know that the God is going to take this person's life soon or later? I personally feel that this living will is not a proper thing. It can be misused.
Yes, you are right. There are always a major chances to misuse things. You remember that Aruna Shanbag case? The nurse
so many
who
years
has,
ago.
very sad story of that female who was in a vegetable stage for almost a couple of decades or many years. So after that Aruna Shanbag case, the nurse who has raped and then she has gone into the coma and she was in a vegetable state for years together. So thereafter there was the issue was raised before the court in Supreme Court also. So that time court has not granted permission to make a living will, or you can remove the support of a person who is in a vegetable state or so and so. But at the same time the Supreme Court has given one more chance that there has to be a passive euthanasia. So you can, if the person in such a state where there is no chances, he's only on the ventilator because of that light support system, or in that vegetable state, the very specific word has been used. If a person in a vegetable state, then only you can use this system to give them a peaceful death.
My own personal case, in this COVID-19, I was hospitalized.
Yes.
I was there for almost 22 days and I was on ventilator. And doctors had given up hopes. They asked my wife that you go and meet your husband for the last time.
Yes.
And she came. I was unconscious at that time and she saw me. She said she had told me so many things, but I don't know. I had not listened to her. I had not heard her. But my neighbor, he told my wife that why don't you ask doctor that how much chances are there for Sudhir bhai to live, to survive. If the chances are not there, they are very less, then you must give up and don't spend about the treatment. And if my wife would have listened to him, I would not be here.
Yes, you are right.
Because the doctor had said chances are nil. And yet I got up and today I am here speaking to you all.
Doctor never, see in your case we are very much, remember it was a very tragic time for us also. Doctors always say it's a miracle. But in this living will, there is are some parameters fixed by the Supreme Court. Some mechanism has been provided that this to be followed. So all precaution has been taken where the concept of living will should not be misused. The problem is that whatever suggested by the Supreme Court in the year 2013-18, till date there is nothing has been done. So the question is still opening whether person can make a living will. Suppose today if I make a living will, I don't know whether that could be executed when I was in such a state where there is no possibility, or in a vegetable state. So there are certain things where you have to, when you make a living will, you have to sit with your doctor and understand what kind of treatment you don't want. If those treatments, if you come to that stage that those treatment you have to take and you are only on that treatment, then only that living will comes into existence.
But Priti, this living will is in existence abroad, no?
Yes.
In America and Europe and other
yes,
places.
Yes, it is very much.
And what are the criteria, or what are the regulations, or what are the guidelines of this living will in those countries?
See, those countries you have to sit with your doctor. You have to understand what kind of disease, suppose if you will have, or what kind of support system you don't want. What is you have to have a certificate and everything. So there are very good mechanism there. There is some custodian that you can deposit your will also. So that, and before that you have to do lot of research, lot of work with your doctor and decide everything in which situations you don't want that you should be on such a support system. Because there the treatment is very expensive. So it is also
it is expensive here also.
It is here also, but therefore that is a very much demand in Western countries than the other countries. Because here when this question comes in Aruna Sandbag's case, there are many religious institution has opposed this on the ground of
natural,
yes,
natural.
Because there is our constitution also article say right to live with dignity. So there is no right to die with dignity, but when now the person comes to such a stage, there has to be include right to die with dignity. So that is the only concept where this this entire controversy started, and still it is a controversy.
But Preeti, in our country, and during my practice as a lawyer since last 55 years,
yes,
and you have also been practicing since more than
years.
25 years, we find that people even do not make their normal
will, yes.
Then where is the question of making a living will?
And in the pandemic, we have seen many people have faced such a difficulty because they were not having will.
Yeah.
They have a lot of properties, and when both parents died, the children are helpless, because nobody can take
Then
the
there is
care
a
of the
quarrel
children.
between the
Yes,
children,
to appoint the
legal
guardian
heirs.
and
Yeah.
everything.
So, according to me, I don't believe in living will. I believe in God. Let God take my life, or let God make me live more. I don't believe in living will, because I personally feel, you may disagree with me, others also may disagree with me, but I feel that living will may be misused. And why should you think of dying only? A person recovers after so many
No, that's what I
long
say. Na,
illness.
see, that's what the Supreme Court very cleverly says. If the person in a persistent in a vegetable state can opt for passive euthanasia, then and then only, because like Aruna Sandbag, she has been on the vegetable state for years together. It is good that that hospital and the people attached to that hospital has taken care of her. But you understand, if suppose a person will be in vegetable state for years together, it will be very difficult for the family. So it is always a matter of this things, how much gravity of that illness.
So in conclusion, I personally believe that there should not be any living will. And Preeti and the other people and the judgment says that a living will can be made, should be made, but it should have certain criteria, certain guidelines.
And
friends,
one more thing I can say, in the living will and or other will also, you can tell the for donation of an organ, which is very important, because the organ donation is very much.
now don't transgress. We are just not talking about living will.
No, but this is a continuation of
that
this.
we will talk it
In a
next
different,
time
yes.
when we talk about will.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So, friends, if you feel that living will should be made, go to your lawyer, go to your doctor, understand it properly, and then make a will. And then it is for your legal heirs to find out whether that can be executed or
Yes,
not.
because ultimately it is a legal heir who has to take decision.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Okay. So, we will meet on the next occasion, next Monday, and we will talk about will,
Yes.
not living will.
Yes.
Thanks for listening us.
Thank you.